Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. We are continuing where we left off. They just finished their meeting with Horatio Ballard. I'm brain farting. Did we do something in between there? Yes. You were talking to Ryan. No. Yes. Wait.
No.
Okay.
We haven't done anything yet. We just finished the conversation.
God, my brain just broke for a minute.
No, I think now is the time we're heading back to the room, and Nathan is going to say, I just paid for your freedom to a degree, so out with it. What the fuck happened?
So, yes. Story time. So, I was sired by
Mark Decker.
When I was bear hunting in Wisconsin. He was impressed.
It's very
by the
nice
way
out that way.
Yes. Yes it is. He was very impressed by the fact that I held my ground instead of running. And so he decided to sire me. Suffice it to say, I was actually not that happy with it at first. I also was not too keen on the idea of hunting people, as he described it. And, between that and trying to maintain what I could of my old life, I regularly was low on VtM. And I had a lot of problems frenzying. One time,
Oh, that's a very good problem. Yes, it is.
Yes. One time, I was at a semi-public event hosted by the city, hosted by the prince, and I frenzied. My sire, he was able to pull me away with, from what I understand, little to no witnesses. However, he dragged me to a nearby warehouse owned by Horatio and the City of Vampires, and there I damaged some electrical equipment in my frenzy, and it started a fire. My sire took the opportunity to save me, but he burned in the fire. And, yeah, not only did I kill my sire, I burned down a warehouse, and I was proven to be a liability, and so my life was deemed forfeit.
Seems like we all have some daddy issues, I guess.
Oh, I don't. I got along perfectly with my father. How about any of you? Well, no, we got along perfectly with our parents. You forgot that now. Ryan showed up also, and he came back with Sarah, Mark, George, and Sam, who you remember meeting before. So they've all been they're all sitting on the couch, eating potato chips and watching.
So, that is why I am not liked very much in Chicago.
Oh, that's a shame.
So, why do you say you killed your father, sire?
I
think he's being held responsible for the entire thing. At least, it did seem like they didn't kill him because, I guess he wasn't directly responsible, right?
That's the reason I was given a chance to run, yes. But at the same time, I was deemed responsible because of my poor feeding habits and frenzy problems, which is what caused the issue in the first place.
Certainly.
I had some anger issues back in the day, too. You know, when I first became a giant cockroach monster, I ate 10 men.
cold? Or...
I was a monster at the time. I had no control of myself. It wasn't until Ryan and the Great Lord Cockroach was able to bring me back in. And sometimes you need a little outside intervention. I think they were guards at the facility that we were working at. Or scientists. Hard to say.
Did they taste good?
I don't know. It's okay, George. We all have our problems. I give him reassuring pats on the shoulder, like there's like 4 of them, kind of like, yeah.
So, Emil, the reason I asked the question... do you actually recall the event in the warehouse?
I recall the events as they happened. The fire snapped me out of my frenzy.
That's odd.
Well, I think it was,
I think the proper way to say it is, if we were talking about dice rolls, is that he got a secondary frenzy check for a different reason. And the secondary check, he basically rolled all 10s.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still odd, but neat.
Yeah, still odd, but neat. Like,
Yeah.
a new source of problems that probably... The frenzy of blood versus the frenzy of fire are quite different, technically. They're both frenzies. The reasons why you're doing it. Panic for starvation.
Frenzy of blood tends... Yeah, frenzy for blood, you tend to be a lot more vicious, whereas frenzy from fire is... Your instinct is to run away.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're described differently in the book as different, like, innate responses.
So, what I'm getting at is, your memories are reasonably reliable about what actually happened following the fire start, correct?
Yes, he did save me. He threw me out of the building.
He could have saved himself, correct?
I'm unsure. I did not see what happened specifically. All I know is he threw me out of the building, and the building then collapsed.
So, given that he was able to get you out, it's fairly reasonable to assume that he could instead have gotten himself out, correct?
Yes. That is
You
why I...
didn't kill him.
No, I did not, but at the same... Not directly, but I still feel that this would not have happened if I had behaved more properly.
Oh, that's most certainly true. And I don't feel that this particular distinction would make any difference to those who are already upset at you. I think this distinction is important for you alone.
Yes, it is why I am, as you have seen me, a lot more determined to... It was an eye-opener to take more responsibility for my actions.
Why did your sire have faith in you?
I don't know. He always said he saw something in me that but he never elaborated much more than that. In fact, that's in a way why he decided so suddenly to sire me. From what I understand, normally those decisions aren't made that impulsively.
Suddenly. Well, I can't say that I see inside people, but you have certainly proven yourself able and competent. So, I don't think that you need to feel bad for doing that. And my faith in you, I believe, is thoroughly represented by my decisions to help keep you safe.
Thank you. I will do my best.
Please
to
don't
not
kill
let
me
you
in a
down.
fire. or really any other way.
I will do my best.
Excellent. Dawn? You're fucking awesome. Keep at it.
Yeah, I know.
Alrighty.
And now you guys know why Horatio hates me.
Yep. Because he's a dick.
Well, because I also burnt down one of his warehouses, was responsible for the death of his friend, and also just caused a lot of general problems.
Arguably responsible for the death.
You know, a frenzying vampire into a place with electrical issues. That's just common sense. I'm just saying. You know?
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think it's time to go to bed and wake up for a fun little auction.
Yep.
Yes.
I want that sword. Dawn is like checking her bank account. There's not much in there.
Dawn, I'm fairly certain that I can't afford that sword.
Yeah, but maybe no one else wants it and I can like bid really low.
You know, you could be right.
Actually, I need to look something up.
Ooh, maybe if they put something that smells bad underneath the display, people will avoid it.
I don't think that's the case.
Got any garlic? I say with a smirk.
Oh no, garlic is delicious. What do you want about?
Oh, just the, stereotype. Never mind.
I like garlic and I don't even eat.
Does it like smell good to you? Cause like, I can still eat, you know?
No, I like garlic. I'm just making a joke about vampire stereotypes. Never.
I mean some of them work, some of them don't. I've never tried force feeding it to someone that can't eat, so, you know, maybe it does something.
Alright.
Okay, so all of you will settle in. Ryan and his crew will leave and bid you a night, and evening time will come. Or, I'm sorry, the sunrise.
Dawn will come.
Uh-huh. At least I'm not saying it this time.
When someone noticed for so long, and it made me so happy.
Yep. Anyway, the next evening will begin. All of you will wake up. You know that the auction begins around midnight. It's like a midnight auction. Special event. High players are here. Everyone's getting ready. What do you want to do in the meantime to prepare for the auction? You do have to meet with Cromwell, as he does have some plans that he needs to discuss with you. He'll send that message to you.
Okay. Well,
Well, Dawn is trying to fit a shotgun into her new dress
we're
somewhere.
gonna leave in like a few minutes or so.
Sorry, apparently there's miscommunication. I might have to take the second break and discuss things. It's very early for the second break, though. Let me... Why...
well, you could go and discuss things, and we can discuss what we want to do.
Okay, I'll let you guys discuss what we do. I'll be back in a minute. GM disappears for a second, or storyteller.
It's GM. Nobody cares.
GM, DM,
Storyteller,
master, you know,
God, whatever.
it all works.
All the bad guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, you know, we're not really good guys either, so. You know.
Is there anything... Are there any of these things that we could take care of before the thing starts?
It would be hard because, the protection on anyone here, and everyone we need to...
It would be hard to accomplish it here.
Oh.
But if we invited someone out to breakfast or dinner or whatever...
Also, when is Marie's friend turning up? Has she turned up yet?
I believe she was supposed to arrive tonight, so she should be arriving soon-ish.
Okay.
So, I guess maybe something we might want to go into is, what do we actually want to accomplish? Do we want to kill?
I feel like killing anyone before the auction is gonna ruin the entire auction.
Francisco. Maybe. We want to question Beckett. Torture, question mark, kill, question mark. We want to... Actually, that's about it. That's all we really want to do.
That's a lot shorter than I thought it was gonna be.
Like, other things we can do is try and deal with Victor Stat. The abomination.
I mean, if we can avoid dealing with him, we can avoid dealing with him, you know?
Yeah, but I'm thinking that here is probably the best place for a whole buttload of people who don't like abominations to deal with him.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of powerful people right here, and...
Ooh. Well,
Grimgroth and Celestine, if the gargoyles want to do stuff with them, that's not really our issue. Nefertiti hasn't made any efforts to come at us at all. The mummy is almost certainly going to fuck something up somehow. But I don't know how, so we can't really prepare for it well. And let's see. The hunters from Dracula's castle.
I've dealt with them once, they'll be easy enough.
Yeah. So, other than that, the only stuff that's kind of weird is figuring out how to deal with Christine, whom we don't know what her deal is, because she came here on her own. We don't know how Vaz, the little girl and the big guy, we don't know what their plans are. And we don't know what the other Pentex stuff is, so... I don't know.
Should we maybe ask the snacks you have provided if they've heard anything? If anyone got a little, loose-lipped while eating?
Ooh, good call. Yeah. That sounds good.
And I cough as soon as I turn back my microphone.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Okay, so, since I missed part of this conversation, what's the full plan right now?
So, ultimately, we don't really have much of a plan yet, because the only two things we really want to accomplish are killing Francisco,
Yep.
questioning Beckett,
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
Yes.
Actually, kill Francisco and get the cup, and question Beckett about the cups.
By the way, it seemed that Frederico knew about Tally. No, sorry. Yeah, Frederico knew about Tally, and he made it sound like he had a plan to deal with her, which may not be a good thing.
Wait, did you talk to Frederico about Tally? I don't think you did, because you were told by...
Yeah, I mentioned that.
No.
I mentioned to him, I'm the one who told him about Tally.
Oh, you told him Tally was there, but you haven't mentioned to him
and
what Helena said about Tally.
Correct.
Yes.
But if Tally's in the meeting with Helena when we deal with Francisco, then...
But Frederico made it sound like he was planning to deal with Tally to get to Francisco. Which...
Yeah. Well, then
might
that
need
might
to talk
be a
to him
good...
about.
That might be a good thing to talk to him about as well. Let's go ahead and talk to the ladies and see if anyone was loose-lipped while they were sucking.
Alright, so you're trying to go see if anybody was loose-lipped anywhere. Basically trying to go to your, I guess, your allies, the staff, try to see if there's any information going
No,
on.
the food.
Oh, the food, yes. Okay.
While they were sucking.
Let me check something here.
Because there's at least a few human or non-vampire creatures.
Yeah.
And even the vampire ones, you know, sometimes they like dinner and a show.
Yeah. Very true.
And sometimes people talk around there, you know, got two people both wanting to feed, and there may be some talk going on.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't like a discussion over dinner?
Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Who will this be? Okay. Alright. So, you have heard word that Helena, the Toreador, was saying some things.
Oh.
She was on the phone with someone. She's apparently interested in 2 items. One of them is the tapestry, and the also is the headdress.
Okay.
The tapestry, she called it a, its name is the Dawn of Gehenna. What was it, Gehenna? Sorry, I might be mixing up my vampire terms. Give me a second here. Yep, Gehenna is the correct one. Gehenna is basically vampire apocalypse because it's like when all the elders rise from the slumber and devour their descendants.
Fun.
Mm-hmm. So yes, it's the Dawn of Gehenna is what it's called.
Okay.
You didn't get with the headdress anything else about the headdress other than she was interested in.
Okay.
I'm spelling that correctly. I am. So now it's called Dawn of the. I've put Dawn of Gehenna on there on the auction list. So you know what? So you know 2 of the items what they actually are. Well, 3 technically because you brought 1, though you're not 4 because you know the staff.
Yep. Okay.
No one else was that loose-lipped, at least during feeding. And there was a number that didn't ask for feeding, too.
Sure. I mean, they were available as anything non-seriously damaging and non-lethal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Emil, you've made friends with Hakumele, so perhaps you could talk to him and see if any of the other people have heard anything.
Very well. I shall ask. Also, just my character, just out of potential interest, is going to look around or look into his funds.
What is your resource level?
I have resources of 2, actually.
Um,
Oh, way out of league, but you know, maybe I could pool some.
We have 4.
God. So you had Hakumele. What was he doing for you? I'm so blanking out.
Security guard.
That's right. He's the security guard. Wasn't he doing something?
So-
He was bringing you something Hawaiian related. I can't remember now.
He's the one who set
He's
up
the one who got the
helped us set
luau.
up-
That's right, the
Yeah.
luau. See, like, I'm forgetting something here. There was a luau. Who? It's like, oh god, my brain has just been so bad today. Oh my god. It's one of them days. Okay. Yeah, you can go to Hakumele if you want to talk to him about some things. What are you trying to figure out from him?
I'd just see if any of his staff has heard anything.
Well, I could ask around. Why is it my Hawaiian voice went mid-western there for a second? Hey, bruh. I could ask around to see what everybody says. You know, after that, it was a great luau we had there. It ended up very good. I could see if anybody around can help you out with that. With any
Yeah,
information.
just-
What you looking into?
Just curious what people are thinking of buying. If we could get any information on that, it
Oh.
might help us organize things a little bit better.
Yeah. I'll look into that. See if anybody's heard of anything. There's always open ears. Okay. Okay, he'll head off. What do you want to do next? Or do you want to wait for him?
I think I'll probably check on some security things. Also check, as I said, check my bank account. It's just maybe I could liquidate some funds somewhere.
Ooh. Could you look through the security tapes and see if anybody's been meeting on the sly or being in places they're not supposed to have been in?
Yeah, actually, I will do that. That's a good idea. Just skim through, fast forward some of the videos. Potentially even of stuff happening during the day, just to see, maybe someone went to bed late to meet up with someone or something.
Hakumele will probably show up a couple hours. It'll probably take him to ask around the staff. So you got some time.
Yeah.
Cool. Well then, shall Dawn and I go and talk to Federico?
What resources does Nathan have? You have 5? Wow.
Oh yeah, he is just rolling in it compared to us.
I just thought you'd be 4. Okay.
No. This is why Nathan says, okay, what kind of condo are we going to be renting?
Yeah, no, I mean, again, that could still happen with 4, but 5 is, yeah, I can see why you are that much looser. Okay.
This is why Dawn lives at, the gym essentially now instead of her own flat that's tiny and is pathetic because New York is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll notice that with 5 resources, he owns a gym, which itself is also like 2 different kinds of business.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
For the most part, his resources ultimately get funneled back into the princedom. But He's got a nice expense account. All right,
I'm also actually one more thing I might end up trying to do. If possible, I'm gonna see if I can find out about that silver sword because Dawn was interested in it.
It's a sword. That's the only reason Dawn's interested.
She looking into it.
Yeah, it's trying to see if there's any information about where it came from or who found it.
The thing is, you know that Cromwell said a friend of his donated it to the auction.
Okay. So
that's most of the items that are up on the auction are either donated by people that are here, or Cromwell got some people to bring some items in that aren't showing up.
Yeah.
And he's represented them.
Yeah, but more my still, it's like
there seems to be no information.
I mean, if it's that clear, yeah, that's totally fine. I just
so you're basically doing a Google search for these things.
Yeah.
Not these things. I was mostly looking at the sword because Dawn wanted it. And I'm just like, who might want it? Why might they want it? Maybe I could find something. Apparently not.
The sword is very unusual. If you look up, what I mean, like if you look up stuff about it, it is looks like it's made with a it's a little worn and old, so there is some damage to it that would need to be repaired. It looks like not much in very mild places, like a couple chips on like the edge of the blade. If you look at it closely, because you're technically staff, you can actually look at some of these things and get close to them.
Yeah.
Even though there are
like me, I may take a picture of the handle and just kind of see if.
Yeah, handle doesn't match the blade, and it looks as though maybe it originally had a different hilt that the blade was attached to.
Okay.
The sword itself is of a kind of strange design. It looks kind of like a long sword, but there's this interesting curve towards the top, but it's just like a slight curve. And on the one side, opposite the curve, which is very odd, there's like a half circle shape towards the bottom of the blade. It looks as though it's not a pure silver sword, it's silver plated, which is definitely more practical for any kind of silvering. So it looks like at least it was made practically. You're not sure because of the silver coating, you're not sure the nature of the blade itself, how it was built too.
So half circle, you say?
Yeah. Wait, I can poorly draw this.
Ooh.
It would be kind of half circle down here. This is very poor drawing with a kind of slight curve at the top. So there's the half circle. There's the partial curve. Okay. That is incredibly poor. I'm not showing that to anybody on the stream. They do not get to see my very, very poor drawing. I'm not very good at freehand
does the hilt
mouse
extend
drawing.
below the half circle, or is the half circle
I'm just going to draw a shape. Hilt's down here where the square is.
Okay.
So the half circle's right above the hilt. And the curve goes at the top. And otherwise it would look kind of more standard longsword if it wasn't for these two features.
Okay.
Like a very it's very European style otherwise of sword shape at very least.
Okay.
Actually give me oh god.
I was wondering if I could roll a cult or something to see if I might recognize something.
Actually give me perception awareness actually.
Okay. So it would be 4 dice. Option. Difficulty?
Just roll it 6. We'll say 6, but it's going to depend on what you get for
one success.
Yes. Okay. I think the highest cancels, so you got a 7. Okay. Yeah. You definitely notice where the hilt was more it looks like it was remade almost maybe and reattached. It's definitely well attached on, but it does look like this part was originally off and probably could be removed again if you had someone that was knowledgeable in swords. You're not sure how deep the rest of the blade goes into the hilt.
Yeah. Normally the pommel screws off, but anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I mean, do you want to just do like occult and
Told intelligence.
Yeah, I'm
full
curious.
stuff
Sure,
on
go ahead.
everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just roll a general occult intelligence. Just keep it at. Just put it. Set it at difficulty 9. I'll say, and depending
Okay.
on what you roll, depends on what I will give you. Basically, you botch. Okay. You take a look at these items, and you got some ideas of what they might be.
Okay.
Uh-huh. If anybody asks, I will let you know those ideas. Nathan, on the other hand, knows some stuff.
I've been
job.
getting into the occult lately, I guess.
Slash G.
Dang.
Let's give it 4. It's a very interesting die. And there's 2 of the same number, so I have to re-roll that. Okay, those are all different numbers. Let's just make sure I cut wrong. Correct. Okay. So, okay, the silver mirror. When you investigate that, you realize something about the reptilian creature on the back. You have seen something very similar to that. Originally, you thought it was more just like, oh, someone made a thing of like maybe a dragon or something from Europe. No, it has a mixture of like traits of things, and some of them actually look very like dinosaur. You're pretty sure that the engraving of the beast of the back is a Mokale. You realize that the so I'll make notes of that on the thing. The Asian-looking lantern. You remember a story that you once read about in one of Helena's books you borrowed one time. She was nice enough to borrow you some like books that actually had some information on it. You know, the kind of things that would not be passed out to public, go around in vampire and supernatural societies kind of stuff.
Sure.
It talked about a lantern that folks in Asian countries had the ability to consult with spirits of their dead, with effectively like maybe wraiths or those that have passed. It's called an ancestor lantern. You're pretty sure that's what that is.
Neat.
You realize stuff about the silver sword.
Ooh.
You realize that portions of it are very similar to the glaive that you have. You've realized that this has been a reforged glaive. This is a werewolf hunter's blade. It is a glaive that has been stolen from a werewolf and reforged for vampire use.
Okay, you wanna know what's really funny? I was gonna be like, you know what my false assumption is? This was a werewolf blade made to hunt werewolves. And I'm like, okay, that was gonna be a complete BS guess because I got a -1, but then I'm like, wait, that was actually kind of right.
Nice. Okay.
I was about to say that, and I'm just like, okay, apparently.
Emil just knows.
Apparently.
Okay.
Alright, and you know one more thing. So, you know that you've realized what the strange clockwork device is.
Ooh.
It's something that Nikola Tesla made. Nikola Tesla was part of a society that was actually investigating something related to mages. They weren't directly mages, but they got into it. They were investigating ether, which is supposed to be the magical energy of the world. He made a device which is supposed to harness it.
Were they like, what are they called, like sleepwalkers or whatever?
Yes.
What?
It was like the Sons of... They were known as the Sons of Ether in sources. Yeah.
I know there's like a...
Well, no, it was
mages,
the...
but aren't mages.
They were the Elodyne Engineers, which they're the technocratic senesters of the Natural Philosophers Guild. So it's the Natural Philosophers Guild that he was kind of a member of. And technocrats descended from them. A group of them, at least. And Nikola Tesla is a member of them. Uh-huh. And the Technocratic Union, actually, after they developed ruined Technicolor's clear and encouraged Albert Einstein to exclude his notion of ether in his work on relativity. Because Einstein had that in his thing. Congratulations. That's a weird little thing of mages and history.
Neat.
Yes. So Tesla was part of like a group that gave birth to the technocrats. The technocrats, once they were born, screwed him over. But this is something that he was developing. It was supposed to be a device which maybe couldn't be used by mages, but could probably help them. You don't know if anybody's made anything like this since then. And you actually don't know its full uses, too. We'll call it, like, the ether box.
The ether box.
Yeah.
Huh. So, I probably recognize it because I was there.
Yeah. It's less like you were during that time period where a lot of that stuff happened, and also, more than likely, you might have seen some stuff from Nikola Tesla that seemed like similar. So you put like a bunch of things together and figured this out. That you learned after your embrace that about some of the stuff that was going on. Like you maybe asked questions. Like what else is out there? Oh, there's like some orders and mages, and probably because technocrats have always been in New York and it's a big center, you learned about them pretty early on since your connections and stuff. And that might have got you into learning a few things about the connections with Nikola Tesla, and then just looking into him and knowing him, during that time period. But yeah, you put 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 together and figured that out with your 10.
Neat.
And those are the 4 items you figured out.
Cool.
Yep. Dawn, you want to try anything?
I'm gonna try and figure some things out.
Sure.
It's just that. It's a difficulty 9, right?
It is difficulty 9.
Alright, let's see if Dawn has learned anything. She has
No.
She's
No, she
using a
hasn't.
shiny blade, like...
Uh-huh.
Well, Dawn is distracted. That's what's happening there.
Okay, yeah, so both Emil and Dawn have ideas about what's there. Uh-huh. Really great suggestions. We'll save those for when they're up at auction. So why don't we... you still have at least 1 meeting before the auction begins.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 2, maybe a few. So why don't we take our second break here? We're at a good time for it. And then we'll go and probably end a little closer to normal time. Well, 3 o'clock, which would have been, we started 2 hours early. So, but we'll go to around 3. So again, bathroom, snack, drink, anything like that, go ahead and get it. I'll be able to run off and do stuff. So, see you in a little bit, folks.